Greetings. Welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese. And this is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. It's been a minute, but again, welcome. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, go on ahead and mosey on over to YouTube. This is where the Osha Cerese Show lives. And don't only subscribe to the channel, but also hit that notification button because this is a weeknight, late night pop-up show, and you never know when I'm going to pop up. So you want to make sure that you are informed when I do, that you are here live and in full effect with me. If you're watching anywhere other than YouTube, it's no guarantee that I'm going to go live on that platform. I do it sometimes, just to keep you in the loop, but this is where it lives over here in YouTube land. You can also watch all the previous episodes under the live tab. But again, welcome back. I am Osha Cerese, certified life coach, dream doula, and event or experience curator, whichever one you want to label it. And this is episode 61. I took a little hiatus. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been live, so hopefully my usual people will come pop up and kick it with your girl. We have, what is this? Fruit punch is the drink of the evening. So we're going to do a toast to happiness, great health, abundance, acceptance, love. There's another word I want to cheers to. Gratitude. And a great episode 61. Cheers. Y'all know I gotta get my gulp on. I'm a little thirsty, a little parched. But anywho, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since I've been live on the Osha Cerese Show. So if you are one of my regulars and you've been wondering where I'm at, here I am. I'm back in full effect. But let me just tell y'all why I took some time off, because y'all know I talked to y'all about balance and rest and time management and all of the things. So that's exactly what I had to do. I had to manage my time. I had to give me some rest. I had to find balance. And if you don't know, if you haven't been watching the show or you're not connected with me on my platforms, me and my good friend Latrice of Original Cowboy Club. Oh, look, let me give out a look. You can, Original Cowboy Club. You see that? You can find her at lmonet444.com or lmonet444 on Instagram. We had a collaborative event called Cowboy Cupid this past Friday, a Western love affair. So it was a collaboration of our two companies. She has Original Cowboy Club, as I just showed you. It's all about bringing awareness, education, events, and all of that in honor of the Black and Brown people of the Western frontier, because y'all know we're the originators. And my platform, the Intentional Love Collective, it's all about bringing singles together, intentional daters, hopeful romantics, bringing back genuine connections, authentic connections, meaningful conversations, getting up out the house, getting, some interaction, some face-to-face, in-person interaction. And of course, her platform is also about community. So we teamed up to create an event called Cowboy Cupid, a Western love affair. Our first one was this past Friday in Atlanta at Atlantucky in Castleberry Hill. It was amazing. It was a success. Here's a couple photos, Polaroids I'll share with y'all. I haven't posted anything other than a little bit of a story the other day because I've been recovering. Because this is me and Latrice. And this is me. As y'all see, I haven't even put up everything yet, because here's my cowboy hat that I wore that evening. But we had an amazing time. We did some intentional interactive activities. We had games. Um, we did some vision boarding to basically not just your average vision board. I ain't gonna say my vision boards are average, but not the typical vision board where you're putting everything that you want to happen in your life. It was specifically what you're calling forth in your love life. So we had that going on. We had some speed dating, of course, and we also did some line dancing, where them fans at. That's where they are. I got a couple fans now. I'm an official auntie with a fan, and I'm just playing. Now let me tell you about these damn fans, because when I tell you, fans were one of the most annoying things to me when I would be at events or like festivals or wherever, and the aunties is just, ma'am, go that way. I'm not gonna hold you. They have been annoying to me since people first started pulling them out. But I feel like when there are songs such as line dance songs and songs that call for fans specifically, I rocks with it. But I'm not about to be in the club with my fan hitting that thing on every beat for every song. I'm sorry. That's just me. Whatever floats your boat, though. But anywho, it was a wonderful event. I'm really proud of us. We pulled this off in like a month. We literally just made the decision that we were going to have this event. We got together, we put down the groundwork, planned it, gave each other assignments, kept each other accountable, had our weekly meetings, and we made it happen. And it was beautiful to see all the people coming in. And it wasn't just us, y'all. It was some people that, they came through and line dance with us. It was Black people, white people, Hispanic people. They were in the building, and we had a great time. We did several line dances, honey. We did Boots on the Ground. We did Country Girl. We did Freak. Is it? Freak It if you like it in the morning. We did the West Coast line dance. We did Follow Me. Whew, there were lots. So we were dancing and having us a good old time. And I'm just really excited. I'll keep y'all updated on what's next. If you are not subscribed to my news love letters, I call them love letters, not newsletters. If you're not tapped in, if you're not, connected with me on social media, do so, because there's some amazing things happening. Again, Cowboy Cupid was really good. Definitely had some love connections. Definitely had some friend connections. People enjoyed the activities. People learned some line dances. Some people came and taught a few line dances. I learned a couple of line dances there. So it was really nice. So definitely tap in with me, because we are in the planning stages of the next one, and the next date will be announced most likely next week. So stay tuned for that. But I did want to talk a little bit about some of the things that came up during this planning stage of Cowboy Cupid, because me and Latrice literally had our boots on the ground, putting in the groundwork to go out and to make sure that we had plenty of people invited, specifically men, because anyone who is in the dating event space or in the doing speed dating events or anything like that, the biggest complaint is that the men do not show up. And the second biggest complaint is that the men that do show up are not as desirable. So we wanted to be very intentional, hence the name Intentional Love Collective, with inviting out some nice looking, well put together men who have some things going for themselves. So we were networking, we were outside, we were going to events, we were, reaching out to our own network people that we know, people that we, I even reached out to some of the guys that I used to talk to, because baby, come find you a woman, because it wasn't me. But in the process of putting boots on the ground and talking to different men, I want to say this: the men that we spoke to, you know, again, good looking men, men that have their stuff together, men who are um, single for real, like not just on in their own minds, but the actual single, eligible bachelors, they were excited about hearing what we were doing. Most of them started blushing or started, wanting to know more, and even really sounding excited about showing up. Some people, some men were like, yes, I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to pull up. Sounds interesting. I'll see you there. But I've talked about this a couple of times on live. And last week's love letter, I kind of talked about it a little bit too. There were some men who expressed reservations. One man in particular, I had invited this. I actually didn't realize who it was until after I pressed send. So this man actually approached me at a bar a couple of months ago. I was at a like a restaurant bar with a group of people after this event that we went to. And so he approached me. He said that he was fairly new to Atlanta from New Orleans. I wasn't that attracted to him, but he wasn't a bad looking guy, just not my cup of tea. Um, and so I didn't realize who he was until I sent the invite, because I was going through my contacts. And I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, well, if I've recently been in contact with them, they must be decent. So I sent out the invitation, and he was basically saying that he's not that desperate to come to that type of event. Maybe when he's in his 40s and 50s, if he's still looking for love, then he will come. He's not hurting on finding no women, yada, yada, yada. And I just wanted to clear up that preconceived notion, because I've found that several men have the same thought process. They feel as if it's corny, or it seems desperate, or it's just out of their element to attend an event that's like a singles event or a speed dating event. And another man told me that, most men take the opportunity to meet women at any event. So they're not going to go specifically to a singles event, because they go to a networking event and approach a woman. They'll go to the gym and approach a woman. And my thing about that is, a lot of women don't want to be approached at the gym. Some women just want to get their workout on. A lot of women don't want to be approached at a networking event or flirted with or made advances towards at a networking event, because they are there to build business connections, to build their business, and they don't want to detour from what they're doing, what their purpose of being there is. And I get it. I know I'm not a man, so I don't think like a man, but I invite and encourage men who find it desperate or corny to attend a singles event to kind of shift your mindset around it. And if anything, just try it. You don't have to come and get married. Um, it could just be something to cross off your list of things that you've never done. And you may end up liking it, because most men who have reservations about it that I've actually convinced to give it a try, like maybe I'm having a speed dating event within an event, and I'm short a man or two for the ratio, and I'll go, peruse through the venue looking for a man, and they're like, oh no, that ain't me, I don't do that. And I'm like, just come try it. And then when they get into the speed dating rounds, all of a sudden they don't want them to end. I'm like, okay, man, it's time to rotate. Dang, I just sat down. We just started talking. Yeah, I thought it wasn't for you. So I just want to invite and encourage you to try something different. It ain't that deep. I don't know if y'all worried about what your homies may think. I don't know if it's because you already have a roster of women that you don't want to come out to meet more women. I don't know if it's you playing like you're single and you're really not. So you don't want to get caught. But if you are single, because I see it on my timeline so much, I hear it from men. I'm listening to the podcast. I hear it in my friend circle of men. I see it everywhere. Y'all are wanting relationships just as much as women are. A lot of men are seeking relationships, seeking partnership, wanting intimacy, wanting closeness and connections. But what are you doing in order to get that? Because when I say, where are all the good single men? Y'all talking about we in the house, just like the women are. So just like I get on the women and get on myself about getting outside, and being outside doesn't mean that you're in the club or you participating in ratchet activities. It just means that you are finding something that matches and aligns with your hobbies, interests, passions, desires, getting outside, exploring, being more social, taking yourself out to lunch sometimes, going on a walk, doing things that will allow you to possibly meet someone, because sitting up in the house wishing on a star is not helping at this point. And then I know personally for myself and for others who are open to online dating, it's kind of getting old. Like it's not like it used to be. I know my dating apps used to be popping. I could get me a date if I want. I'll swipe a couple times, end up talking to somebody, go on dates. It might lead to when I was dealing with situationships. I've been in many situationships from a dating app. But these days, as I've matured and things that I hold on, yo, things that I um desire or my standards have changed, the dating apps are just kind of whack. So if the dating apps are whack and you're not going outside, and a lot of the things that we used to do, like grocery shop, go to the store, um, run your errands, a lot of those things go to a restaurant, pick up a meal. A lot of those things are deliverable now. So people are Instacarting, people are doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever you do, Postmates, and they're not getting outside as much. And it was interesting because I had just told Latrice that I remember, look, I really sound like I'm that damn old. I'm only 36. But back in my day, I just remember like back when I was younger, it was often that you would be riding in your car and meet somebody at a stoplight, a traffic light, and be like, yo, what up? Hey, what's up? Roll your window down, exchange numbers. That ain't even happening these days. It's just like, what is happening? How have we gotten so disconnected from each other? It's crazy. But it was funny because I had just told her that the other day, and I had a conversation started on Threads about this very topic. Um, and this, I was asking basically, where do men meet single women? Where do single men meeting women? And this lady had basically added that she had met her husband at a traffic light back in whatever year, 96 or whatever it was. And it was the day after I had talked about how that rarely happens anymore. So if y'all, my whole message when it comes to that is, if you have the desire for a relationship, like I keep calling for the hopeful romantics and the intentional daters, if you have the desire, that's just not enough. You have to also match that desire with action. And by action, I mean doing the work on yourself, your inner work, of course, and also doing the outer work that it takes to align with your partner. Now, I'm not saying that it's not possible that you're at home and maybe a delivery person comes to your door, or you look outside and you see the neighbor pull up and you're attracted to them and you walk across the street and spark up a conversation. But let's say that doesn't happen. You have to put in the action to get outside, place yourself in position to meet people. And that doesn't mean put yourself in a position of things that you wouldn't normally do. Like, I'm not into ATV rides. So I'm not going to be like, ooh, I'm going to go get me an ATV and rent it and go ride in the mud tomorrow because I'm going to meet me a man. That ain't my thing. But I do like a good concert, a festival. I like to shop. I like to take walks. I like music, all of these different things. I love, to take myself to different restaurants. And I'm open to new experiences as well. But I'm just saying, like, you don't have to go so far out of your element just to find a person, but step outside your comfort zone a little bit. You could try something different, like golf lessons. I'm not a golfer, but hey, I would be open to golf lessons. And it's just a matter of desire plus action. And I believe that's what equals the intention. So if you're an intentional dater, if you're intentionally seeking love and partnership and you want a relationship, then you got to get off these podcast mics, get out these beds, get out these houses, get off these screens, swiping and scrolling and all of the things, and go outside. And so what is wrong with going to a curated event that is specifically for meeting other singles? That's the point of this whole long rant. If you're a single man and there's a loneliness epidemic, people are lonely and people are getting older and older. So while we're young and fine and we look good and everything works and we have all of these options, a lot of people feel like, oh, we got plenty of time to find the one. And in the full scope of things, I believe you have time. But if you want to put forth some action to meet your person while you are young and vibrant and able to do things and still have children if that's what you want to do and all of the things, you got to put in some work. Okay. So what better way to start meeting singles than to go to events specified for that? I don't think it's corny. I don't think that it's desperate. I think that it's just very much intentional. And I know a lot of women, there were a lot of beautiful women at the event, and there were a lot of nice looking men too. I'm not saying that the men didn't show up, but the amount of men that we invited and the amount of men who said that they were interested and they were coming did not match the amount of men that came. But the men that did come had a great time. We had some handsome men in there. And there were some beautiful ladies in the building. Beautiful faces, skin, bodies, personalities, in all shapes and sizes. Tall, thick, bigger, slimmer, short, locks, pixie cuts, braids, bobs. It was nice. It was a plethora of variety. So if you didn't come, you missed out. But for those who did, again, we had a wonderful time. I look forward to sharing more of some pictures and videos. I got y'all. I'm working on a lot of different things just to update y'all. Not only am I going to be posting that, I got 2 weekend recap vlogs that I owe you. So Mother's Day weekend, I'm halfway through editing that. This past weekend, I'll get on that. Of course, I'm going to share with y'all some stuff for the Cowboy Cupid and stuff. But also, speaking of the process of planning and reaching out to people and all of the things with the Cowboy Cupid event, a lot of things just come to light. And I realized that, I think I preach on every episode about vetting, about figuring out who it is that you're dealing with, because some people are lying and some people are just omitting the truth and they don't think that that's lying, but they're just withholding information that is actually important for someone who's dating you to know. So one of the things that I'm working on is, y'all know that, with the viral interview that I had a month or so ago, I started a story time series, Bride and Groom, talking about my personal story with my ex, meeting him at 16. He's 23. He was 23 at the time. And one of the things that he did was he omitted the amount of children that he had. And I later found out, and I talk about that in the Storytime series. But I'm finding that men are still doing that to me. And, you know, I don't have children yet by choice, and I would prefer a man who doesn't have kids either. I would love to experience first time parenthood with my partner, with my husband, my man, whoever I decide to have children with. I may be open to someone with children if the circumstances are right, but preferably would like a man that doesn't have children, just like I don't have children yet. So as I'm, you know, reaching out to people for the Cowboy Cupid event, I reached out to one gentleman in particular that I dated maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And he was telling, you know, I was inviting him, and he told me that he had just recently, like last week, moved back to New York. So I'm like, oh, word, okay, why did you move? Because I was shocked, because he had just, you know, was starting to get himself established here. And I remember when we were dating, he was a little bit younger than me. So at the time, I think I was 35 and he might have been 33 and a half or something like that. And he was saying that he felt like he was just entering into his grown man era, like really establishing himself here in Atlanta. He got his place, he had a great career, all these things. But then when we started talking about like future plans, short-term, long-term goals, he was saying that his timeline for having children and getting married was late 30s, early 40s. Mind you, he's in his early 30s at the time. So his timeline didn't align with mine, because his was basically like maybe 7 to 10 years from now. So that was one of the reasons why I had stopped talking to him. So anywho, when I reached out to him and he said that he had just moved back to New York, I'm like, wow, why? So he goes to say, well, my daughter just turned 13 and I want to make sure I'm close with her when she goes to high school, that I'm close by and able to, you know, really be here to help raise her. And I was like, I don't recall you saying you had a daughter. And he's like, really? I thought I brought it up when you said you were a stepmom. I'm like, I don't remember that. Because at first I started to second guess myself. I'm like, well, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, or maybe I'm not, you know, recalling all of our conversations. But then I had a eureka moment in the middle of the night. I'm like, no, because that is one of the reasons why we didn't work out, because of his timeline. And he said that he didn't have kids. So I'm just like, why are y'all hiding children? I'm questioning it, and I know the answer. I know the answer is, you know, he really wasn't wanting anything serious. He just wanted to date and probably just sleep with me, which he did not do. And so he was just going to tell me anything. But I just think it's crazy to act as if you don't have children when you do. Then I recently found out another guy that I dated back in, 10 years ago. He told me he had 2 daughters. The last time I saw him was maybe a year and a half, going on 2 years ago, maybe. I think it was going on 2 years ago. I ran into him somewhere and I asked him how his kids were, and he named 3 daughters. And I'm like, I thought you just had 2 daughters. He was like, oh yeah, I don't really like people all in my business. And I'm like, we dated for several months. So then I found out today that not only does he have the 3 daughters, but he also has a son. So I'm just wondering, what's going on in y'all head when y'all just omitting the fact that you got all these damn kids? And I don't think it's cool to withhold information and then try to get what you want out of someone without giving them the full understanding. So I guess. All I know is everything just be coming to the light, but that's funny. Anywho, that's why I say that vet. Ask the questions, find out things. And I'm really not not big on like looking at someone's social media to try to get to know them. But now I'm starting to see that you might have to do a couple of do your Googles, as French old star told Charlemagne the God. Do your Googles because people be hiding stuff. But anyway, I do want to address the fact that we are still in Mental Health Awareness Month. The month of May, Mental Health Awareness Month. I know I took a couple of weeks off, but we still gonna be talking about it. And today I wanted to kind of take a moment to talk about like what people go through when they are healing from heartbreak. And I understand, and I know, and I've experienced the fact that everyone handles breakups differently. In my opinion, in a perfect world, breakups would be amicable. When things are not going the way that you hoped that they would, and you've done all you can, and there's nothing else left to do but stand. When you both have decided that you can no longer go any further, you decide to go your separate ways and send them off with light and love. But of course, it doesn't always work that way. Most of the times, breakups are usually one-sided. One person is making the decision to end the relationship, which is painful for both parties. And you know, I've been trying to sit with myself and kind of see the differences between how men and how women handle breakups. Because as a life coach and as someone who is um, the go-to person for a lot of people, I have supported men and women during breakups. And with women, it's very painful. There's a lot of hurt. And I would say most of the women that I have supported have initiated the breakup, but they're still hurting because they did not want to have to do that. So there's pain there, there's grief, there is a process of acceptance, there is anger, bitterness. Sometimes there's hopelessness, pessimism, depending on the person as far as their love life, not feeling like they're going to find love or have love, or just sad about having to start over. A lot of those type of feelings. But the men that I have supported during breakups, it's a different level of, I guess the pain is handled differently. I've seen a lot of just, I guess people would kind of call it crashing out, but like feeling defeated, a big, huge blow on confidence and ego, devastation, extreme pessimism, hatred, anger, bitterness, jealousy, not wanting to, like struggling with detachment, deep depressions, erratic behavior, being out of the element, going straight into the dating pool again, being sexually hypersexual to try to mask the pain. So I've seen it handled differently. And everybody is different, but I do see a lot of similarities to how women process and how men process. And, for anybody that's struggling with a breakup, it is basically grieving, because this is someone who you thought that you would be with, that you thought would be in your life forever, and now you have to learn how to live without them, just like you would with a death. So it is a hard thing to deal with in some cases for most people, especially when they have not mastered like the art of detachment, if they have some unhealthy attachment to that partner, if they feel like that's the best they can get, if they have been abused, um, if they have some unhealed wounds from childhood, that all of that comes back up during these times. So you see a lot of depression. You see even, you know, SI. You see a lot of people just wanting to give up during breakups. And I just want to say that I've been through, some terrible breakups, specifically a divorce. And it feels hard. It feels like it's something that you're never going to stop hurting from. Like you literally feel the heartbreak and you feel, broken and all of that. But it is something that you can overcome. It is something that you will overcome. And it will just be a moment in time if you do the work that you need to do. First of all, give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. You need to take some time to, allow yourself to be depressed. Being sad is a feeling that you're allowed to have. Taking some time to rest, to sleep it off, to, be detached from everyone or whatever it is that your process is to feel your feelings. The key is just not to stay there, not to live there, not to surrender to the point where you give up and that's just your life at this point. You have to be able to push forward, move forward, overcome, and really understanding that, you know, we don't own anybody, we don't possess anybody. We experience people, we experience what they bring in our lives, and everybody comes into our lives for a specific reason. And as cliche as it is, or as it sounds, as some people come in your life for a reason or a season, it's true. Um, Everybody comes into your life for a reason, to teach you something about yourself, to help you heal something within yourself, to bring up something that you have repressed or suppressed, to be a mirror to you. And some people come into your life and they stay in your life, and some people do come into your life for a season. So when we understand that sometimes it's time for the season to change, and we don't always like that because everybody loves the sunshine, everybody loves the summertime. Well, most people. But then when the seasons change and it's fall and leaves are falling and it's getting colder and all of that, and then winter comes, everybody doesn't adjust well to those changes. Literally, people have seasonal depression. So um, when you come to the realization that sometimes the person that you thought would be your forever is not, but it's okay because you can learn from whatever it is that you were supposed to take from that person, feel your feelings, do the work to rebuild yourself back up, and know that you will find love again. First, you got to find it in your source and within yourself, and then everything is going to be all right. And speaking of forever, I felt like that was beautifully portrayed in the series, the Netflix series Forever, which was based off of the Judy Blume novel Forever. And I believe that if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, but I definitely recommend everybody watching the Forever series. I think that they did a great job. Mara Brock Akil wrote it, created it. Regina King directed it. I think it was beautifully done. I think it was well casted. I think the cinematography, the lighting, all of that was nice. The music, 10 out of 10. The storyline, the portrayal of teenage love, the ups and downs of it, the family dynamics, the differences between the two-parent home and the single mother home, the differences between the, private schools and the different types of schools, the HBCU, the PWI, which one you gonna go to, um, the the fact that there weren't any super violent, trauma porn or police brutality or all of that type of stuff. I just thought it was an amazing portrayal of this coming of age story. And I think that the beautiful parts about it is, for one, it explored teenage love, because for teenagers, we like to call teenage love puppy love and downplay it and minimize it and reduce it to, it's something you're gonna do and you're gonna get over it. But for teenagers, that is that puppy love is real love for them. And it really showed the dynamics of them going through their makeups and breakups and the problems that they faced and how they overcame them. And it's just so much to get into with Forever. But I think, for one, um, speaking of what I just talked about with the mental health awareness and breakups. So in the series, the main characters, Justin and Keisha, um, they go through some things that cause her to block him, and he does what he has to do to get back in her good graces. And they go through their little trials and tribulations, and they eventually break up. And Justin goes into a depression. Like, he stays in his bed, he's sleeping all the time, he's sad, he's not really showing up, performing the way he once did. And I see a lot of men, grown men in real life, that also have the same reaction to breakups. And of course women do too, but specifically talking about the dynamic of the young boy and how a lot of men still handle breakups in that way. And I think that one of the good things about Forever is that it showcased the dynamic that he had at home. So he grew up in a two-parent home, and his mother was very anxious all the time about him being a black boy in this, affluent neighborhood, going to a white school. She was often nervous about his well-being and his safety, not only with police, driving late, and having access to being able to have his car, driving late at night, where he was going to be, where he's hanging out, and also how wanting to protect him from, the risks of dating maybe a white girl at his school. So she just often was worried and anxious, and she kind of parented from that space of fear. And the husband, his father, was very grounded and calm and helped her ground herself when she was anxious. And he also led in a way that was not controlling or aggressive, which is what was very refreshing for me to see. Because sometimes stories are told when the father is present, it's just a lot of aggression and rage and yelling and cussing and fussing and all of these things. And it don't have to be like that. He showed how he was able to be almost like a mediator for his wife and his son when they didn't agree, and he helped them come to a solution that they both could respect. He also, in some cases, made the final decisions in a way that didn't seem dismissive to what his wife wanted, but just from a different lens and a different perspective. Like, if there was a scene where Justin wanted to go support Keisha after she had to tell her mother something very serious, and he wanted to be there to support her. And his mother was kind of like not wanting him to go out that late or drive or get involved or whatever. And the dad was just like, go. This is what you do. Be careful. Do what I told you to do. Do what I taught you to do if you pulled over. And, I guess in a certain lens, it could have been looked at as undermining the wife's wishes, but I think it was just showing how a man can lead his household. And he's a man raising a son. He has a different perspective on how things should go. And he doesn't want his son to just be raised from fear or coddled all the time. Even when he was going through his heartbreak and Keisha showed up at the Martha's Vineyard, and his mother was trying to shield him from knowing that she was on the island, and interacting with her and re-triggering his depression and all that. And his dad was just like, he's a young man. He likes girls. Heartbreak comes with it sometimes. He's got to learn. He's got to go through it. He's got to get through it. It's going to be all right. So I thought it was beautiful to see the duality of how they operated, and it just worked well. With Keisha's mom being a single mother, working 2 jobs, trying to do the best she can to provide Keisha with the best opportunities that she could afford. Keisha was a star student, star track player, or track star, track athlete. And her mother, Keisha had a full ride scholarship to a private school that she was attending. And then there was some controversy that happened at school with her and her boyfriend at the time. She went through so much. She went into a depression. She was embarrassed and shamed to the point where she fell into a depression. So her mother was thinking that it was based on having to code switch at this, predominantly white school, racism, microaggressions, or whatever she thought she was dealing with. So she pulled her out the school, sent her to like a black private school. But she didn't have a scholarship at that school, so her mom had to work all the time. So her mom didn't have time for herself. She didn't barely have time to spend with Keisha. She was bitter. She was tired, and she had high standards for Keisha. She told her, "Oh, keep your books open and your legs closed." So I like how it also showed how much pressure young people can have on them when it comes to their parents' expectations. So both Keisha and Justin were experiencing the same thing in different ways. Keisha was experiencing the pressure of being almost perfect, doing everything right, being a good girl, being about her books, her education, her athleticism, not doing anything wrong, not being sexually active, all of these things in order to, of course, be who her mother raised her to be. And Justin had a lot of pressure on him to do well in school. He had ADHD, overcome his learning disabilities, be good in basketball. And once they figured out their plan as far as him either having a backup plan for the basketball, if he had to get his books in order. He had to get his education in order because it needed to be a backup plan, because he wasn't doing that great in basketball. He wasn't really getting to shine in basketball. He was good, but his coach wasn't really giving him the opportunity. So they like, okay, what's the backup plan? But then his mother wanted him to go to her alma mater, however you say it, the school she went to. And she wanted him to go to that school. And he was with it at first, but then he started to have doubts. First, he was thinking he wanted to run up behind Keisha and go to the school she wanted to go to. And she already knew that she wanted to go to Howard. She already had her game plan set for what she wanted to do after high school. So he kind of got confused because he's just wanted to be in love and be close to her. And even though she loved him and wanted to be close to him, she also wanted them to have their own experiences, to be able to miss each other, to be able to talk about it, to be able to see each other during the summers and visit each other on breaks. So he kind of, was in a state of confusion. But then he also had all that pressure on him because they did get him into the same school that his mother went to. And once he got in, he realized that that's not even what he wanted to do. He had a passion for making music, and he wanted to go to a school that had a really good music program. So it was a lot of pressure put on him to not only go to the school that his mother went to, but also because he was going to be the first man in his father's family to go to college. And so it just really did a great job with showcasing how much pressure young people can have on them, on their shoulders, trying to please their parents. And it can be to the point where they don't even feel comfortable sharing when they don't want the same things their parents want for them. But it did show how they both overcame those things. Like with Keisha, she was kind of pushed and forced into sharing the real reason as to why she ended up having to leave her previous school with her mother. She was pushed to do it, forced to do it because it was exposed, and it was going to come out. So even though she was forced to do it, it provided opportunity for healing and for understanding and for conversation and closeness, between her and her mother, and it provided her with a sense of community with the other people that supported her during the time of how she was feeling with her mother knowing. It relieved some of that perfectionism pressure that she had, because now her mother knew, okay, my daughter's human, my daughter's a teenager, she's exploring, these are the things that she's doing. I need to make sure she feels comfortable enough to talk to me about it and not have to hide it or have the weight of the world on her shoulder and be processing it on her own. So it definitely did what it needed to do. Forever was really great. Also, again, exploring teenage sexuality, because a lot of people felt cringy about it. Mind you, all the actors are in their 20s, so it's not like we were watching kiddie activity. These are not teenagers portraying teenagers. These are adults portraying teenagers. But it's also important to explore the reality of sensuality and sexuality amongst teenagers, because it's happening. Okay. People have to stop acting like it's not. I hear parents talking about, oh, I just, you know, want to get them to college. I don't want to deal with the conversation. I'm just making sure that they stay virgins until this time. And, oh, let's preach abstinence. Let's do this. Let's do that. The schools are not really doing a great job with teaching about sexual education, health awareness, understanding. The parents are avoiding the conversations. The kids are talking to each other, getting wrong information. There's a lot of pressure from peers. It's all type of stuff going on. But sex is happening amongst teenagers, and I think it was a great, um, just a great coming of age story and a great opportunity to take off the blinders as to what's really going on in these teenage relationships. They do feel love, they do have heartbreak, they do have hormones, they are having sex, they are going through controversy and all of the things. So I definitely recommend Forever. And I think that it also allows people to see themselves in the characters, maybe their younger self or maybe their current self, and the things that they're still doing, um, that were, displayed, whether they're doing it from a parental perspective with their kids, or maybe they're doing some of the same things that these teenagers were dealing with in the series. So congratulations to them for having been renewed for a season 2. Looking forward to seeing how they tell the story, and what they do with season 2. But y'all let me know if you watched it, and what are your thoughts. And speaking of healing and all of those things, make sure you tap in with me if you are on your journey of healing, self-love, and self-discovery. If you are in need of a life coach to support you with the things that you are working towards in your future, you need a plan of action, you need some guidance, you need an accountability partner. If you are looking for a course or a workshop to get into to help you with some guided work, you're not really ready to do this on your own. Maybe you're not um, sure of what to do, what steps to make, where to start. I got you. So I have a 6-week course called One Single Step at a Time. It is about healing, self-love, self-discovery. It's guided. It comes with 6 weeks of coaching, and you get your guided journal, How to Be Single. There's 2 different designs. The other one I don't have with me up here, but here's what it looks like. It comes with this guided journal. Then I also have my self-love program, 5 Ways in 5 Days. It is teaching you how to incorporate the love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care. Also, how to uncover any blockages you may have with giving and receiving love. And then we have, you always have the option to just book a discovery call if you don't know where to start, what to do. Maybe you just want coaching. You don't want to do a course. You just want someone to hold space for you, work with you on some things that you need to get done. Book a discovery call. We'll schedule some coaching sessions and get you right. If you're an influencer, creative influence, I said influencer, creative content creator, business owner, if you have some ideas and you don't know what to do with them, you have some gifts and you want to learn how to utilize and monetize them, book a strategy call. It's on my website, strategy session. Will get you right. Whether that's a content plan, content schedule, teaching you how to create digital products, whether it's ebooks, digital courses, getting you a niche, teaching you how to show up on social media, whatever it is when it comes to how you show up on social media and how to monetize some of the gifts that you have, just book a strategy session and I got you. And if you are a hopeful, romantic, and intentional dater, you're looking for love in 2025, you need to be on the Intentional Love Collective database. That is a growing community. You get exclusive invites to singles mixers, speed dating events, and possibly some matchmaking because it allows me to see who you are matched with in the database. If I find that you and someone else have the same desires, you're looking for similar things, I can connect you. And it's simple. It's on my website under the Intentional Love Collective. We have some amazing events coming soon in the Atlanta area. If you are close, pull up. And yeah, what else I got for you? Oh, and you can always just grab a journal if you want to do the work on your own. That's always an option. But let me give you a few journaling prompts to wrap this episode up. Starting with, what is something that you learned from a relationship that ended, even if it hurt? What is something you learned from a relationship that ended, even if it hurt? What fears have kept you from showing up fully in your dating life? What fears have kept you from fully showing up in your in your dating life? What does forever mean to you in this season of your life? What does forever mean to you in this season of your life? And one more journaling prompt. Have you been honest with yourself about what you truly want in love? Have you been honest with yourself about what you truly want in love? Okay. I think those are some good prompts for you related to our episode. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. If you would like to go back and watch any of the episodes of the Osha Cerese Show, they are under the live tab. This was episode 61. If you want to be featured on either the Osha Cerese Show or Connections and Conversations, or if you have a story that you want to share, you want to email me a letter or anything like that to discuss an issue or unpack something for you on the show, you can always email me at oshacerese@gmail.com. That's OSHACERESE at gmail.com. And we'll unpack it, honey. But until next time, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to be working on a little bit of content. So wish me luck because I got a lot of editing to do, but I got y'all. So make sure you're subscribed and I will talk to y'all later. Have a good night.